Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse number 5. Uddharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Atma eva hi atmanaha bandhu, atma eva ripuhu atmanaha. I've drawn two boxes on this particular verse, and the box has been created to facilitate and understand that the punctuation of this verse has been in such a manner that the above line when divided and the line at the bottom when divided, both the above portion and the lower portion, they directly relate with each other, intrinsically relate with each other. Now, having said so, let me take the second part of the box, not the first one. It has to convey something which is very interesting. There is a word written here in Sanskrit which has been spelled as avasad. Yet, avasad. Avasad is a word which has a literal meaning, anything without hope, anything devoid of enthusiasm, anything without energy. And if we combine these three, in total it means depression. When there is no hope, when there is no enthusiasm, when there is no energy left at the end of the mind, that state within is termed as depression. Depression is universal. It is above all religions, ethnicity, caste, creed, color, gender. It has almost pervaded the entire planet. Wherever we see, it has its mentions in different forms. Because whenever people confront lack of hope, lack of enthusiasm, lack of energy, they become dampened. And the dampened state of mind is termed as depression. The verse which has been mentioned here as an utterance of the great master of all time, Adi Guru Vyasa, conveys, do not push yourself into depression. Do not push yourself into depression. Do not push yourself into depression. If I expand the meaning of this particular verse in order to understand it more, it conveys, do not push yourself. What does do not push mean? Do not push, in other words, means to convey that I behold the right and the might to ascribe towards depression. This is something not easy for us to understand. Reason being, because generally we understand that whatever circumstances or situations that we experience, in accordance to that is our ability to respond. If there are contrary, if there is a turmoil outside, if there is a crisis outside, if there is a pain outside, obviously our ability to respond and experience shall also observe and experience pain inside. As a result, if there is adversity outside, we shall automatically get its impact. Maybe we lose hope, maybe we lose enthusiasm, maybe we have extreme paucity of energy. Practically speaking, whatever is the ongoing outside, just in accordance to that is the state of the mind within. It is obvious. There is nothing special about that. If there is nothing special about this, then why is Adi Guru Muni Vyasa making a mention, do not push yourself? Where do I have the choice? If there is something which is adverse outside, automatically I am going to experience accordingly inside. Where am I pushing myself? Where do I have the choice? To convey that yes, I have the choice. I was preparing for this live classroom and I had an opportunity to study many great scholars and masters. One of the masters has very rightly mentioned, depression is abuse of will. Very interesting. Depression is an experience as an outcome of the abuse of will, which means that any moment, every moment, any moment, I behold the will. If I wrongly exercise it, if I abuse that will, that choice to experience within, that becomes depression, that is abuse of will, which means irrespective of whatever is ongoing outside, irrespective of the catastrophe or the turmoil outside, I still behold the will to respond or to allow its impact come inside. It is possible for a human being, to remain absolutely immune, from the impacts of the ongoings, adverse ongoings outside. Dogmatically, it appears good, impressive, but is it practical? Can it be practiced? Can it be really experienced that I have all odds outside, extreme adversity prevailing outside, yet I remain totally immune to its impact? Is it possible? Yes, it's not that easy, it's not that possible. That is why the word sadhana is used in the parlance of ancient Indian wisdom, which means to keep on trying, embarking upon your practice, where you are going to fail for countless times, yet go on trying. Obviously, an ordinary human being is not able to understand and draw a line between the ongoings outside and the state of mind within. He or she is not able to draw the line. But the moment you become a sadhak, an aspirant, a seeker, and you go inside yourself in the experience of contemplation, which we term as Atma Chintan, Atma Manan. When you contemplate inside, when you bring all experiences of a day threadbare, that moment you are able to dissect, distance and dissect, understand it. When you contemplate upon any single day that you have experienced, you try to distance and dissect all experiences. At that moment you can understand and observe, yes, there is a difference between the ongoings outside and me, myself within. I behold a right and a might to discriminate and immune myself from the impacts of the ongoing outside, however adverse they may be. It's only then. Otherwise, in general, ordinarily people, their consciousness, their awareness is totally embroiled into the ongoings of their life. There is not much of a difference of the occurrences outside and their experiences within. They are totally intertwined. In general, what we experience is in the life is whatever is the ongoing outside and our state of mind, they are absolutely intertwined, embroiled. Whereas the moment you become an aspirant, you are able to draw a distinction. You are able to distance and dissect the ongoings and the you. That moment you can exercise your will to disallow the impact of the ongoing, whether good or bad, to intervene, intrude and impact your state of mind. As I rightly said earlier, it is not that easy. When we study and when we teach, study and teaching confines to thoughts and words, but ability to respond, reaction is the actual stage of the karma. There it is not easy. But this all is about sadhana, where an aspirant or the seeker shall always try and embark upon an attempt to distance. He may or may not succeed, cannot be said for sure, but one has to embark, distance and dissect in order to give oneself an understanding that me and the ongoing outside are different. I may disallow its impact to come inside and cast its venom upon my seat of understanding. I cannot permit the impact of the ongoing, adverse ongoing outside to destroy the hope within me, to eliminate enthusiasm within me, to deplete the stock of energy at the end of my mind. It's only possible when you are able to create an interlude of inner contemplation. The moment you undergo an inner contemplation, distance and dissect, you are able to create a small caveat between the ongoings outside, adverse ongoing outside, and you inside. Because if you do not distance, dissect and make yourself understand, then you are bound to come under depression. And the choice is vested with you. The will is there within you. You choose to abuse it or not, it's your choice. This fact is the primary understanding one must take back home after this today's live classroom. You may be able to exercise will rightly or not is a matter of sadhana. It's a matter of your attempt, your practice. You may fail countless times. But it will only start once you understand and believe the fundamental that even if you are going into the impel of depression, it is an exercise of a will itself, not by itself. It's not automatically happening. It is somewhere an exercise of a will which you can choose determinedly and abstain from exercising. This one has to make oneself understand. In general, the practice and observation is whenever there is adversity outside, negativism outside, your efforts are being thwarted by whatever reason, because whatever you plan, it's not necessary that it shall move, it shall fare the same way. We may not have control upon several factors outside. The impact, the power, the enormity of the kala, the time, space is huge. You may have the best plan in place, yet there may be certain factors which are beyond your control. They may come and simply thwart your efforts. What in such condition? Are you going to allow the absolute right and might vested into you by the Almighty of will to be abused by depression, that is avsad, or are you going to choose to behold that right and might of the exercise of will towards righteousness? If you choose to exercise it towards righteousness, then the first part of the line says, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. You act Uddhar, U-D-D-H-A-R. That's how it has been spelled in Sanskrit, which means for your salvation or growth or evolution. You can select any of the synonym or the equivalent word for that. Uddhar means to evolve, to grow, salvation. what is the salvation or the inner growth in the parlance of wisdom, in the ancient wisdom? The discriminative intelligence within a human being, when it is exercised under the light of farsightedness, is termed as the state of Uddhar, salvation. The ultimate salvation of a human being is when his or her discriminative intelligence is used under the light of farsightedness, farsighted wisdom, in order to discern between different subjects, people, situations, facts. That is the state of salvation. That is the state of inner growth. That is about Uddhar, evolution. In general, our intelligence, our ability to respond does not act under that discriminative, far-sighted wisdom. In general, it is colored, biased, programmed under the impact of or the impel of impulses. Either it is instinctive or whatever, either sanskara from the past lives or a hard habitual response system which has been developed, cultivated, nurtured in this life, whatever it is. The moment your seat of understanding, your ability to respond is able to kiss the discriminative intelligence with the light of far-sighted wisdom in order to discern between different facts righteously, that is the right use of will. Right use of will. You behold the right, you behold the might, according to the master, the greatest master of all time, Adi Guru Muni Vyasa, the immutable gospels of Gita. They convey that you hold the right and the might to determine whether you shall allow the abuse of your will in accordance to the experiences, ongoing experiences outside, ongoing occurrences outside, or you are going to rightfully use your will and determine your own salvation, your own evolution, your own inner growth. Let me reiterate it once again. It is not that easy in practice. Yes, it is not that easy. I admit, accept, endorse, it is not that easy. But this is the way out for evolution. This is the way out for inner growth. This is the way out for salvation. The acrobats, when they endeavor upon their practices, the first movement is not the movement of success for them. At times they have to fall, experience, undergo a lot of pain. If they try to live and nurture the experiences of the pain alone, they shall never embark and attempt another time. They have to rise above. They have to distance, dissect, analyze through their discriminative intelligence in the light of far-sighted wisdom, discern with the pain, the failure they had. Only then they are able to embark upon the rope again and try to gather that balance, that equanimity, that equipoise through the state of their mind that exercises through its manifestation into the physical dimension. They are able to draw that balance and move upon the rope even at a great altitude. Otherwise, merely experience of one time with abuse of will land them into no hope, no enthusiasm, no energy for another attempt. It has to be the right use of will. Here, both the lines, the one at the top and the bottom, how do they interrelate with each other? It says, Na Atmanam Avasadiyate. Do not allow, do not push yourself into depression because you behold the right and the might. to abstain, to stay immune. Because if you push yourself into the state of depression, Atma eva ripuhu Atmanaha, you become your own enemy. The word ripu, R-I-P-U, means you become your own foe or enemy. You don't need any outside intervention to come and cause a detriment to your interest. No, you don't need that. You become your own enemy. The moment you exercise and abuse your will towards depression, that is lack of hope, lack of enthusiasm and depletion of energy, you become your own enemy. You don't need any outside impact at all. On the contrary, the first line says, Uddharet Atmana, Atmanam, Atma eva hi Atmanah bandhu. The word bandhu means well-wisher, well-wisher or a friend. Well-wisher, sorry, double L. The words at times while writing on the board get jumbled up. Well-wisher, a friend. On the other hand, if you utilize your discriminative intelligence towards the ongoings outside in your life, through the exercise of light of far-sighted wisdom and discern between subjects, you become your own well-wisher. You enable yourself evolve, you enable yourself grow, you act for your own salvation. Because you alone are vested with the right and might to use your will, abuse it or use it rightfully. You behold that right and the might. As I said, in general parlance, people will not understand it because they are totally intertwined, embroiled in the occurrences and experiences outside. So they are not able to gather the understanding that whether they behold that right and might to exercise will or not. It's only when you become an aspirant, a seeker, when you sit for contemplation and distance to dissect the ongoing situations, it's only then that you realize that yes, you behold that right and might where you can stay immune, absolutely immune. You can pass through those tormenting moments unscathed. You can really pass through them. It's like passing through a tunnel where there's absolute darkness. Nothing is there that you can sight. It's absolute darkness if there is no light in the vehicle. The moment you come out of the tunnel, there is a lot of effulgence outside. These tunnels are bound to come in one's life unavoidably, whether because of your karmic bondage or whether because of the impacts at large under the kala, the time. It may be for any reason. The attribution could be to any factor, but yes, experiences of the tunnel are bound to come. That is why when I was determining the subject of this today's program, I chose to write the creases of depression. Creases, this word I chose, creases, because when you experience crease on a bed sheet or cloth, they are not one, they are many, they are many. And the creases of depression, the creases of such adverse situations that could land you into depletion of energy, exhaustion of enthusiasm and lack of hope could be many, not one. It's not one time affair. It's an ongoing affair. It's an ongoing affair. Day in, day out, you feel, you experience, you find situations where these states are bound to come. Their occurrences is going to recur number of times. Then you have to understand that yet you hold the right and the might to determine whether you will allow the abuse of your will for depression or you would rightfully exercise it towards discriminative intelligence under the light of far-sighted wisdom to discern facts, situations and people. This verse number 5 is in service to the verse number 4. If you can recollect the last class, we had embarked upon the understanding of a subject which was Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasa. which means relinquish all determinants, all determination. Totally relinquish all kind of choices, will you have, so that you can focus, concentrate upon one that can lead you towards yoga. Yoga means enabling your limited entity, limited stature, touch the dimension of limitless. When your limited entity is able to expand towards limitless, that is called as yoga. So, how does it happen? It happens when you relinquish yourself from all resolves, relinquish yourself from all kind of resolve and merely concentrate and focus and conclude on one particular objective, as your core primary pursuit of the life. Then that state is called as Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasa, where you relinquish all other resolves. And when you have relinquished all other resolve and you have now focused upon one vital objective of life, it's not necessary that things are certainly going to happen the way you envisage. No, they are not going to happen the same way. At times, the deflections on account of unavoidable forces may be so vast, their magnanimity may be so huge, that you may absolutely go into a different direction. What under such conditions? Would you allow yourself and exercise the abuse of a will towards hopelessness? There is no hope, there is no enthusiasm left for any other attempt, and you have depleted all energy inside? Or you would exercise through contemplation, inner contemplation, with discriminative intelligence under light of far-sighted wisdom and discern. If you do this, you will be in service to your primary resolve, which I've created here as a dot. A dot means one particular vital resolve that you have given to yourself. The primary observance, the primary pursuit of your life. In service to the understanding the essence of the verse number 4, the verse number 5 has brought before us an understanding about the exercise of will. Abuse is depression, right use is towards salvation. Having the details shared, there is much more to come in the same light under the verse number 6 of the chapter number 6. See you in the next live classroom. Till then, Om Shanti, 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 Om.